Hello, Steve Hart 89. Well, wasn't today interesting? Now, OPTUS, Australia's second biggest mobile network, collapsed today. Now, I fortunately have set up myself so I've got my phone on one network and my home internet on another network. So unless they both go out at the same time, I always have one to use if something goes wrong or I forget to pay a bill or something. So my mobile was fine, but my home internet went out. So I was able to just go on my mobile and just check. Because at first, I didn't notice for hours and hours and hours because I was watching a podcast that I downloaded. And I was basically just listening to that. It was 5.5 hours, and then I was going to go to bed. So I was doing practical things while I was listening to that. And then I went to check something, and I'm like, oh, my internet's not on. And I'm like, okay, what's happening here? Is I checked the modem. Is the modem? No. I thought, did I forget to pay my bill? Because it's supposed to be paid on the 20th of the month. I'm like, is it like 2 weeks overdue and they cut me off? I looked, no, I paid last month. Next month isn't due yet. And I thought, well, maybe it's the service, but that never happens. Or maybe they're doing repairs in the area or something. And I looked online on my phone on Telstra. And what did I see? That the whole network was down. And it was the whole network, everything. Mobile, internet, landlines, everything was gone. And that's like 10 million people who had no services. And we're talking emergency services, we're talking call centres for the airlines went down, FPOS went down, people couldn't pay for things, people who didn't have cash just couldn't buy things. There was nothing they could do. It was an absolute disaster. And of course, Optus didn't have anyone out to talk about it for hours. It started at 4 a.m. in the morning and went for about 12 hours, I think, or 3 a.m. in the morning, went for about 12 hours. So I think I don't know what time it finished. But I've heard quoted 10 to 12 hours, how long it was out. I didn't notice because I was like, oh, well, I'll check that later today. And then I just checked a minute ago and it was on. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I sort of thought I should check the news and see what people are saying about it. But they had the CEO come out and she's clearly just there for appearances because she didn't seem to know anything and she didn't actually explain anything, address anything, and she certainly didn't promise any compensation for all the millions of customers who had no service this morning. And for the people, because with 10 million customers, out of all those people, someone must have needed to call emergency services, wasn't able to, and died. At least someone must have died today because of this. I can't believe out of 10 million customers, not one of these people needed an emergency service that they couldn't get. Because what I didn't realise until today, because I don't have a landline anymore, I had one for years because it was the best way to contact my mum because she was in another state, but then it became easier to use our mobiles, so I eventually cut it off before she passed away, but about a year or so before that I got rid of it. I had kept it for a while because I was using the landline for my internet, but there was a problem with the line literally just near my house, and they refused to fix it because a different company actually was responsible for the maintenance of the lines, so they didn't care that a customer from another network couldn't use the service, so they wouldn't fix it, and then they replaced it with NBN. And in order to use NBN, I have to pay like $2,000 to have it put into my apartment. So I just keep using my mobile broadband and my mobile, so I don't have to worry about a landline or NBN. But it's just kind of shocking. I'm sure someone is going to be suing them, and customers should be compensated. But of course, they didn't promise that. They didn't address anything, and they seem to think that we work for them, not the other way around. And I was thinking of changing my my network provider a while ago because Optus actually changed my plan, and they started charging me $15 more a month for the same service. And that's because they changed my plan and got rid of some credits that I was getting that were part of the plan that I signed up for. And they structured it in a way that they couldn't fix the problem, so then, couldn't do anything about it apparently. So I was going to change it, but I need to change sort of in the second, third week of the month so I can have it sorted out by the end of the month so I'm not having bills crossing over. And I'm too busy and I just forget, and then next thing I know I don't have enough days left for the end of the month to get the modem sent out and do that, so I just haven't done it the last 2 months, but I'm doing it this month to send them a message, and I hope other people do the same thing, because you need to have your services on different networks. So if this happens, unless a cyber attack takes them all out at the same time, you're okay. But issues like being cashless, we can't go to a cashless society, because when we do, this is what happens when the services go down. People literally can't buy things. So there are a lot of issues. This should ultimately be a wake-up call to people that the companies only care about money. They cut the services and the maintenance. So when something like this goes down, they can't fix it like they would have in the past, when they actually paid to have the infrastructure to sort of deal with this sort of problem. And the other issue, of course, is like they would have had the same limitations. They wouldn't have been able to use their own phones to contact within their own systems and repair people and that. So it would have been a complete disaster. Whereas in the past, if the landlines didn't go through the NBN, they would have been able to call each other on the landlines and manage the problem. They could use the landlines for the internet, but they couldn't do any of that. They were shut down trying to sort out the problem and get themselves back up when they were actually shut down. So it was a huge disaster. And like I said, it should be a wake-up call, and I hope it changes things. But it just shows how vulnerable we are, how much we depend too much on big companies who have too much of a hold over all the individual services. But yeah, just had to comment on that, mostly because I saw like the interview with the CEO, and she was absolutely disgusting in her attitude and avoiding everything and not promising anything and just double speak in PR, and she just really made me sick. She's purely just there to be a pretty face on the company, and she didn't actually have any skills so far as actually managing the situation. All she did was the usual, we're right, you're wrong, we did nothing wrong, it's all your fault, basically. Work for us, pay us money, and don't expect anything back, basically, was the attitude she had. How dare you ask questions and expect anything? Sorry, you work for us, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Wasn't planning to go to 7 minutes, but I just couldn't get through the whole thing in 5 minutes. Yeah. One thing I do want to say is I'm a little bit proud that I wasn't that bothered. I just was like, I checked on my phone what the problem was, and then I'm like, okay, I can't use the internet until they fix it. So I just did whatever I wanted to do, went to bed, got up, did whatever I had to do, and it was a couple of hours till I even thought to check if the internet was even working. So I know there are some people who would have been paralysed and incredibly anxious by not being able to connect, and I wasn't that bothered, so I was really happy about that, proud about that. I'm going to go. Bye.